Hey you guys, in today's video I wanted to talk with you about being a psychiatric nurse and what it's like. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name's Fola, lovely to meet you, and to those of you coming back, so grateful that you're joining in again. I really wanted to just share a bit about what a psychiatric nurse is, because as I talk with more and more nurses across Canada and in the United States and other places, some people aren't really aware of what we do exactly. And for a really long time, okay, just actually up until this year, I would tell people I'm not a real nurse RN, but a registered psychiatric nurse is what I do. That was weird. Registered psychiatric nurse is a nurse that is focused mostly on mental health and addiction support for people. So in my training, pretty much now most programs for psychiatric nurses are a 4-year bachelor's degree. Just like the registered nurses or RNs, they used to have a diploma and then they transitioned it to a bachelor's of science in nursing. It's the same kind of thing. So I guess the psych nursing is just a little bit more behind. We unfortunately don't really have psych nurses in that sort of RPN designation across Canada as of right now. They're mostly in the western provinces like Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Alberta, and BC. But we work alongside RNs. I mean, it's not uncommon to find a registered nurse on a inpatient psychiatric unit or even in the community. It's pretty rare for you to see an RPN working on a med surgical unit. And even though we've received a lot of the same training, it's just that's mostly not our interests. I mean, I know it's not really mine. Actually, one of the places I work, they had asked me to do some support for the students on a pulmonary unit, and when they told me where they wanted me to go, I'm like, do you want somebody to die? I would have to go back to my textbooks, wherever those are in storage, and see what I can learn. But no, that's not why I became a nurse. Let's just put it that way. And to be honest, I actually don't even understand how it is that I came about finding this whole psych nurse thing. I was in my last year university because I have a previous psychology degree, and I really had no idea what to do with my life after that. I was completely turned off of all the psych and the stats and research and blah. So I then just came across this program at MacEwan University and I signed up. And not really understanding what psych nursing was, I just felt oh, there's something here I should look into. And yeah, that's how that all came about. And I remember my first clinical, we were at a long-term care, and I'm like, what have I gotten myself into? This is not really my thing. But there's something about connecting with people that I've always been drawn to, supporting, and that's why I guess I was in psychology. Something really about kind of diving deeper into the mental health concerns. And my interest in mental health began many years back. I would say it was kind of because of the movie A Beautiful Mind. If you're not familiar with it, watch it. It's really great, really good soundtrack. But there was something about that movie that just really excited me around mental health, and to know that there are people out there who can support those who maybe are struggling, right, and going through some really challenging experiences of altered states. And so that kind of led me on my journey. And really, psych nurses, we do a lot of things. I think as psych nurses, we've experienced a lot of abuse and a lot of disrespect and a lot of amazing connection with our clients, right? No matter if you work in a hospital setting, inpatient psych, we have people working on intensive care units for psychiatry, where there's a lot of pretty unwell people who can become quite aggressive and bizarre in their behaviors. But then we have people working in the communities, in geriatrics with elderly population, with children, youth, with families. There's so many options. And now we've branched into like the world with there's like concurrent disorders where we can do a lot with like the addiction side. So people maybe who have issues with using alcohol or other types of drugs or substances, even gambling or sex addiction. And it's about kind of supporting people in what's going on for them, what type of support and treatment do they need in order to, live a life that's like healthy for them. And something that when I was starting with my like nursing program, it's really about that harm reduction. Though I understand that this is kind of still not really like applied, I guess we could say, in most places. Harm reduction is really about how do we meet a client where they're at, and based on their life choices, whether it's to like drink a lot of alcohol every day, how can we like work with them so that whatever their use of that alcohol is no longer impacting their like everyday functioning. Maybe, they decrease the alcohol use just by a little bit, but that means now they're going to work instead of missing work. So really like the psych nurse is about like providing this like holistic approach to someone's mental health and their physical health and wellness, because we understand that, even though we might not really be able to see like what's going on based on someone's behaviors, there could be other underlying physical reasons, and I'm not just talking like medical concerns. Like for instance, if someone drinks a whole lot of water, they can have water intoxication, which can make them almost seem like psychotic, and they become disoriented. They might not know where they are, who they are. But there could also be other reasons, like people not having basic shelter, their needs being met, like food and water and certain type of level of care that way. All these things like impact how someone's mental health is. And the psych nurse, I feel, is quite well trained to provide that sort of support, because we understand medications, right? We complete doctor's orders to like administer medications. So we can do a lot of different things. I think actually my class was like one of the first classes to be learning how to do the IV starts, so intravenous like starts. And even though I like talk about nursing and I joke around like the whole concept of myself being a nurse, I feel as though this last year, like 2020, has really opened me to embracing these pieces of myself as a nurse. And I'm really thankful for the opportunities I've had. Most of my work has been in the crisis team and providing support to people who find themselves in a mental health crisis. And there's so many amazing partnerships, like working next to police and EMS and like all these amazing different people. For a brief period, I was working inside the jail and like seeing clients. Like there's so much variety as a psych nurse. I think it's unbelievable. And in my personal opinion, there's only going to be more of a need for this in the future. And I really feel like there's a place for a psych nurse or, a nurse, but primarily those who are trained or interested, at least in mental health, to incorporate all the like psychedelic assisted psychotherapy and those sorts of models, and to also incorporate other types of spiritual wellness or modalities to support clients. Because even though we talk about psychiatry and how we have this like whole person, again, like we say like mind, body, soul, but I don't really feel like we have enough in our system to provide the support from that spiritual aspect. And it's really nobody's fault, right? I mean, how can we expect the healthcare system to provide that, right? I think it's all our own individual journey. But I would love to see more nurses and more people being able to access this type of support for themselves, and to hopefully like shift themselves into that place of wellness, that whatever that looks like for them, right? So I hope that kind of gives you an idea. I mean, maybe I could do like a day in the life of a psych nurse one day, but really we wear many hats, giving bus tickets, giving people like food. I don't know how many times I've purchased McDonald's for some of my clients to build a relationship with them, giving injections, staying on constant, and just sitting with someone who maybe is having a little bit more of a challenge at one point. There are like so many things that psych nurses do, and there's a lot of beauty in that profession, and I'm very grateful for the last like 10 plus years now that I've been working as a psych nurse, and all the different people I've worked with, and it's just been quite a blast. So if you're interested in finding out more about psychiatric nursing, obviously I'm sure you can find something online. There are some great programs in Canada that offer that, and feel free to let me know what you think about it. And if you're a psych nurse, good on you, and keep up taking care of yourself too, because God knows we need all of us to be at our tip-top shape for the next couple years. So you guys take care, and feel free to like and share this video and hit the little subscribe button. Okay, take care.